Michael and I just got home from our trip to Japan. I always had this crazy off-the-wall idea of Tokyo, and so I did my best to find things to do that would satisfy that idea, and it totally worked. On our first day in Tokyo, we left for the day to go do a day tour. We went to a few temples and we learned lots of history of Japan and Tokyo and lots about samurais and things like that. On the second day, we started off by going to the Sensoji Temple, which is a really cool 5-story pagoda. And then we headed off to the Robot Restaurant, which is basically a cabaret show, and you watch some very elaborate choreography and also like robot battles. So it was like strobe lights, lasers, robots fighting, explosions, and you were just sitting right there watching. For the third day, we did a lot of anime stuff. We headed off to the Studio Ghibli Museum, which is the studio that produced My Neighbor Totoro, Spirited Away. So we got to see many original drawings from the studio and the artists. Then we went to the Pokémon Center Mega, which is the biggest Pokémon store that exists. It was like 3 huge rooms that had hundreds of different plush stuffed animals of the Pokémon, and notebooks, pencils, Pokemon cards, games, shirts, apparel, anything that you could imagine. And then we ended the night in a place called Golden Guy, which is a series of alleys that are just packed with tiny little themed bars that have like 10 to 20 people that fit inside. The next day we spent a big chunk of the day in a digital art museum called teamLab Borderless. It was built up with like projections of flowers or streams or trees or just different really cool things that you could have projected on you or were projected on the walls. There was another really cool thing where you could draw your own sea creature, and then once you were finished, they would scan it and then project it up on the wall in the ocean. The last day we spent a lot of time in Harajuku. Harajuku is like the fashion district where everything is like edgy, new, cute. There are lots of boutique dessert places, so we had dessert a few times. We went to a few cafes, such as a hedgehog cafe, and then we went to a zoo cafe that had chinchillas, rabbits, otters, and I think even prairie dogs. We ended at the Kawaii Monster Cafe, and this was probably the closest that I will ever get to going inside of Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, because it's pretty much what it looked like. If you put like a little sick twist on it, it was just like anime looking animals, crazy colors, the food was all bright colors. We finished our last day in Tokyo with a walk around the Imperial Palace and gardens, and then we had our last meal in Japan, which was a sushi go-round. So Japan was such a fun place. The kawaii culture, the history and traditional culture, and just the advanced technology and everything was super cool to see all meshed in one place. The food was fabulous. The people were super nice and really helpful, and I really enjoyed my time in Japan.